Hey Smyth Ute builders, Hesty here. Well, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I like to add on the Mark V, and they also apply to the Mark IV in most cases. It's a little bit different, but as I point them out, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to grab the camera, we'll do a quick walk around. There's just a couple of little things I want to show you that are probably a good idea. I like to do them, and maybe it'll spark another idea for you, or you'll come up with another way to do it. But this will get you started. So here's looking at the driver's side rear quarter panel. It's all installed. The kit is very rigid, and when you get everything done to get that quarter panel on there, it's very stiff and well supported, except for this lower area right down here. There's not a whole lot there, and so it comes out being a little bit flexible. So I add a brace. Now this is just a little bit longer than the floor spar braces that come with the kit, but you can come up with just about anything, but a long L bracket works out real well. And I glue and rivet and bolt and glue. And that supports this bottom corner, and now that quarter panel isn't going anywhere. The thickness of this particular bracket is overkill. It's just what I had. Thanks to Wade Lindbergh, came up and brought me a bunch of extra brackets when we were working on his son's car. So that's what I had. Doesn't have to be that heavy a duty. On the Mark IV, this is actually a solid piece on the inside, and that works on the Beetle kit also, by the way. I do that same technique on the Beetle kit. But it just gives that a little bit of support. So, item number one. Item number two is specific to the Jetta kits. And I apologize, I painted some of this black already, so it's kind of hard to see. But I've never been real thrilled with the way this area works out. And you always end up with this big void, and if you can try to fill it, and it can get kind of crazy. So I just cut a small piece of flat aluminum and then drilled it to match the tailgate hinge there. So it is bolted on with these two bolts, and that holds that little panel. So that little panel gives us a little filler panel here. So now when I'm doing cabosil and body work, I can smooth that all out, and it won't fall in as I'm trying to close up some of these gaps. When you add the filler panel here, or the roll pan support bracket, right, that's going to close everything off pretty well, and that'll look pretty good. One disadvantage that I'm going to have to do a couple of drains. Just the way I got this roll pan on, it actually slopes down a little bit, so water is going to sit in here. So I'm going to have to do a couple of drains, especially since this will be closed off now. But I did that on both sides here. Let's see if you can see into this one. All right, that's just a piece of flat aluminum cut, and you spend a little bit of time matching this curve, but it's pretty simple. With that off, you can hold the piece of aluminum on here, and then just from this side with a pencil trace that out, and then cut it to match. Doesn't take too long to do. So I like that. The third item is that the fuel filler neck didn't come out very well centered in the quarter panel hole, and that makes it really hard to get it in and out the cover hatch. So I put a couple of 3/4 spacers. So if we look down in there, you'll see a white block, right? That filler neck, and now I'm going to have trouble focusing the right way, but that filler neck has two bolts, one here and then one right here, that hold that neck up to this steel support. So I just put a couple longer bolts, and you can see that little white spacer block, and that brought the filler nozzle down 3/4 of an inch and gets me closer to centered. It's not exactly centered, but it sure makes it a whole lot easier getting that piece in and out, and it looks better. So that worked out pretty well. Very simple, couple of longer bolts and a couple little plastic spacers in there. You could stack up washers. There's 100 ways to do that. But I just used a little piece of that synthetic 1x2, which I always keep some of that around because that's really handy stuff to have. So that's my extras on the Mark V. Good luck to y'all. Take care.